Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to a video on the channel. What we have for you today is our wildcard video going into game week 13. Even if you're not wildcarding, hopefully it'll help you out with your transfer or two for your team moving forward. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. It is really appreciated, especially as we're such a small channel trying to grow. And let's get into the video. So we're going to start with the goalkeepers. And as usual, I've gone for the cheapest options, but it just so happens that they've both got good fixtures. Turner's fixtures are good from game week 14. He's got Everton, Fulham, Wolves, and Bournemouth in the next five from that point. And it's the same with Areola, who's got Burnley, Palace, Fulham, and Wolves. I've decided to go with a couple of Chelsea players. Now, they've got Newcastle, Brighton, and Man United in the next three, which maybe looks worse on paper than it actually is. A few of those teams at least are struggling for form. And then it's a huge run of Everton, Sheffield United, Wolves, Palace, Luton, Fulham, got Liverpool in there, but then you've also got Wolves and Palace again, and that actually takes you up to mid-February. So I reckon a couple of value players are worth it. I wouldn't overinvest initially, whether that's in price or in getting three Chelsea players in because of the patchy form, but that could change in the near future if they kind of get it together a bit more consistently. Someone like Palmer, especially, who looks like he's on penalties, is fantastic value at 5.1 million. I've also gone with Soufal in defence, and some weeks it might mean that I've got a double West Ham back line, but I can rotate Areola with Turner like we've spoken about. Soufal did actually get three assists in three consecutive games only a few game weeks ago, so I do think he's a fantastic option, especially for the price. I would like a Liverpool defender in, but the cheap options like Matip, Kanate, Simicas, and Gomez, they do seem to be getting rotated. Salah, on the other hand, is a must-own, and I do think he is worth that premium price you're paying for him, just because he's guaranteed the minutes, it's likely to be on penalties, and he is returning in most game weeks. Whilst there seems to be a lot of chaos in the league right now with a lot of teams, I do think Arsenal are pretty consistent themselves. The best performers and also most consistent players this season are Saliba and Saka. Now, you're paying a bit extra for them instead of other Arsenal options, but I do think that's worth it given the fact that they're nailed on and they are returning consistently. If Arsenal get a clean sheet, Saliba's likely to get a bonus point or two given his impact, and Saka has returned in most games this season, so I do really like them as options. Now, I'd be hesitant to overinvest in Man City due to the blank in game week 18, unless you've got a decent bench to ride that game week, which is what we're going to try and look at today. I think if you do want Man City players, then a couple would be a good idea. But once they get past Liverpool, Spurs, and Villa, and someone like Spurs is maybe a bit all over the place at the moment, they do have Luton, Palace, Everton, and Sheffield, so it's definitely worth having an attacker or two, even with the blank. I think given that Man City have only kept two clean sheets in the last nine games, I'd stay away from a defender. Haaland seems pretty obvious. I would get him in. But the second, I would say, is a matter of opinion. Someone like Alvarez has actually had inconsistent minutes and production recently. So I think I'd rather back Foden for a similar price. And he's had 90 minutes in four of his last five games before this game week. So it seems funny talking about Man City's lack of clean sheets, but Fulham have actually had three in the last nine. So I'm not, I'm saying to get away from Man City defenders, but then I'm also saying to get a Fulham defender in. But they do have Wolves, Forest, West Ham, Burnley, and Bournemouth in the next seven. And Castagna is a dead cert to play. He's also a fantastic price point as well at 4.5 million. So if Fulham, you do want to move off him, there's a few options around that you could move to, like a Newcastle defender, if they kind of get their players back from injuries and become a bit more of a solid defensive unit. I think it's worth having Matoma in your team as well. Brighton have actually scored in every game so far this season, and they also have Sheffield, Forest, Chelsea, Brentford, and Burnley in the next five. So I don't really see them stopping scoring anytime soon with that opposition. Believe it or not, I do actually like Bournemouth's fixtures, and believe it or not, I did actually put Solanke into this team before he scored two against Newcastle yesterday. I think they've got Sheffield, Palace, Luton, and Forest, and Fulham in the next seven, and I think he could be a really good short-term option, especially for the price. It's the same with Awoniyi. I think he's got Brighton, Everton, Fulham, Wolves, Spurs, and Bournemouth in the next six. He's back playing after a short spell out, and he's a proven goal scorer for Nottingham Forest. He got, I think, 6 or 7 in 6 or 7 game weeks at the start of the season. And he is someone that you could rotate with Solanke given the fixtures. I've put Matty Cash in here as well. I think despite Villa's mixed fixtures, in the blank game week 18 where Man City don't play, Villa play Sheffield United at home. So I think not only does he offer good cover going forward, but I think in that game week 18, he's someone that you can just slot in your starting lineup and you know he's probably going to get clean sheet or there's a high chance of that. So when I put this team into Fantasy Football Hub, shout out to them, it actually came back with 100% rating, which I've never had in any wildcard video before. So it must show that it's pretty good all round. The value is just about 100 million. Now, you will maybe own some players in your team already, which could also save you some money moving forward as well. But for me, it looks like a fantastic, well rounded team. And the strengths are that there is a deep bench and as well as lots of heavy hitters. So I would classify, Saka, Haaland, and Salah as heavy hitters. The deep bench means that you can be flexible with your formation and your rotation based on the fixtures. The weaknesses for me, however, is that there's possibly too many mid-range options. So players like Solanke and Awonyi, they're not necessarily going to give you consistent goal scoring form every week. And that does then lead itself to things like selection headaches. One week you maybe want to start Solanke and bench Awonyi, but then Solanke blanks and Awonyi doesn't. So you are kind of risking it a little bit, and you do maybe need to keep up to speed with like the team news and things like that each week, just to make sure you can't really put a set and forget starting 11 each game week. But if you're engaged in the game, then that shouldn't really be a problem. So yeah, keep an eye out for my own team video later this game week. Hopefully we can keep doing as well as we have been. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. If you do think that there's any improvements that you can get on this team, do put it in the comments, or if there's anyone that I've missed, let me know, and I will see you in the next one.